Hello, this is Martin O'Malley. I'm the Commissioner of the Social Security Administration, having been nominated by the President of the United States, thank you, President Biden, and confirmed by the Senate, whom I also thank. But I wanted to bring you up to date on where we stand today as an agency and how we can improve the level of customer service we deliver for the American people. Because they paid for it. Each of you paid for it. You paid for it through hard work over a lifetime. You paid not only for your benefits, but you also paid for the customer service necessary to access and apply for those benefits. So here we go. We are in a customer service crisis today, and it cannot be denied. You see it in the long wait times on our 800 number. You see it in the injustice we do to people through accidental overpayments and then their clawbacks. And you see it probably most jarringly in this map of the United States. These are the disability determination offices, and their job is to make those initial disability determinations. As you can see from this map, there is not one of them that is in the green of making those determinations within 120 days. In fact, some of them, people have to wait longer than 300 days. In my own state, it's 359 days. That's unacceptable. So how do we improve this? How do we put the agency on a path to improving customer service? This next chart shows you where we are today. The blue graph represents, and going up, 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 and up, are the number of customers that we are now serving. As baby boomers, people of my generation, have aged, we now serve more people than ever. But the red line is staffing. Staffing has been allowed to decline to 27-year lows. We're glad Congress recently passed a budget on this year. We're glad that cuts to this agency were not deeper, even as we rise to an all-time high in the number of people that we serve. We've got to make some changes. The good news is, not long ago, Social Security actually operated at a very high level of customer service. Prior to 2017, we were allowed by Congress to operate on about 1.2% in administrative costs compared to the annual outlay and benefits. But something happened around 2017, and that something was this. Congress stopped even allowing us to have our own budget or appropriations hearing. And as a result, instead of being allowed to operate on 1.2%, that percentage has now declined to about 0.95%. What does that mean in real terms? That means fewer staff than we've ever had in the last 27 years serving more customers. And that is what has contributed to the big decline in customer service. It's what makes those wait times longer, whether it's on the phone or for a disability determination. But when we were allowed to operate at 1.2%, it was pretty efficient and it was pretty effective. Allstate operates on 19% overhead of its annual benefit payouts. Liberty Mutual, Liberty Biberty, operates on 23%. And Social Security, when we used to have congressional budget hearings, was allowed to operate on 1.2%. We can reduce the wait times on the phone. We can reduce the time it takes for an initial disability determination, and we can reduce the time it takes for an appeal, an ALJ hearing on a disability. But we need to be allowed to operate at that traditional 1.2%. You've earned your benefits. You've earned a high level of customer service. We need to ask our Congress to allow us to use the monies that you've already paid in so that you can get somebody on the phone when you need us and you have to call. The good news on the horizon is this. The president's budget for fiscal year 25 is a big, solid step in the right direction. It would allow us to restore staffing levels that we haven't seen here for years. That'll allow us to answer the phone quicker, to process benefit applications quicker, and to make those critical determinations for people who are suffering from a disability. So thank you for listening. Please make sure your friends and your neighbors understand what's going on, and most importantly, where we can go in order to restore the customer service that you should expect from your Social Security Administration of the United States of America. Thanks a lot.
you.